All right, if you are at home, we're doing this one. And we've got 2 minutes. Put your thumb on the corner. Be relaxed. Remember, if your brain tells you the answer, probably it's right. Okay? And go. Alright, stop. Circle any that you didn't get to or you skipped. Circle ones you didn't get to or skipped. Yes?
If one of my numbers looks bad, can I and you can't really tell what it is, can I
Before tomorrow you can, but not right now. Alright, is everybody still circling? Okay, finish up real quick. Alright. Anybody still circling now? Okay. That's not circling. Okay, here we go. Number 1, 9 times 3 is 27. Number 2, 2 times 3 is 6. Number 3, 4 times 3 is 12. Number 4, 3 times 3 is 9. Number 5, 8 times 3 is 24. Number 6, 9 times 2 is 18. Number 7, 2 times 7 is 14. Number 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Number 9, 2 times 9 is 18. Number 10, 3 times 2 is 6. Number 11, 2 times 2 is 4. Number 12, 6 times 2 is 12. Number 13, 2 times 9 is 18. Number 14, 3 times 5 is 15. Number 15, 6 times 2 is 12. Number 16, 2 times 9 is 18. Number 17, 6 times 3 is 18. Number 18, 2 times 6 is 12. Number 19, 5 times 3 is 15. Number 20, 4 times 2 is 8. Number 21, 3 times 7 is 21. Number 22, 3 times 3 is 9. Number 23, 2 times 6 is 12. Number 24, 4 times 3 is 12. Number 25, 6 times 3 is 18. Number 26, 7 times 3 is 21. Number 27, 2 times 8 is 16. Number 28, 3 times 3 is 9. Number 29, 2 times 5 is 10. And number 30, 3 times 9 is 27. All right, take a little time to fix any that you got incorrect. There were some in the top that you got wrong that you didn't mark as wrong. So you may want to look at some of those. If you get that done, grab your math study guide. It takes some time to get the correct answers in right now. I'm going to need a little water to figure it out. Why don't you grab the other part of yours? Yeah. Go ahead. This is the time of year where you start getting static shocks. Have you noticed that? Like if you get in and out of a car or anything? You ever noticed it?
Yeah, I
Yeah, a little bit. Or you're walking in your house and you have carpet or anything. Yes? Oh, go ahead. You alright? Alright. Once you have your time test put away, have your study guide out, it looks like this. We're going to go through, remember the idea on the study guide is that you're checking that you did it correctly. If you did a great job on all of these, then you've kind of successfully studied for the test. If there's a section where you're like, ooh, I kind of messed that up, then you may need to kind of study a little bit more. Right? Remember, when we take the test, if you would like to use actual counters, I will get some counters out. What I mean by that is, I remember the drawer there. Alright, the little be a baggie like this, or 2 baggies, depending on how many are in there, and you can kind of lay them out to be able to count for the multiplication. So basically you can make an array with this. Some people are like, wow, that will take a while to do. I'd rather just make a picture with little dots for each one, or a little circle for each one, and an X for each one. Whichever thing you want to do. I will probably have everybody have a scratch piece of paper though, so that you can kind of double check. Because you could just do repeated addition too, right? Alright, and that's something I'm going to talk about on here is what's going to be the best way to get the right answer. Okay? Yes?
The best way to get a right answer is to memorize them.
It is the best way, but I don't think we're all quite there yet, are we?
Oh, well, I was just telling you.
Okay, that is the best way. Correct, Liam. Thank you. You've been listening. Good job. All right. Yes.
Well, are we going to do it like with the last time we did where we go up to the blue and put the stick together?
Probably not. Because I want to get kind of done with this so we can do something else. Okay? I'm hoping you guys, when you did this, you were like, this really wasn't that hard. I'm hoping you were thinking fairly simple. You should have yours, like, in that pack that was with the stuff I just gave you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And you can at least get the answers in. All right. First one. It says 5 groups of 2, and then they even made a picture for you. Well, how much would 5 groups of 2 be? What's our unknown going to be? Calvin? That would be 10. If I didn't know that 5 groups of 2 is the same as 5 times 2, and I can just figure that out, I could have just counted all of my circles, right? So that one should be super easy. Yes?
Just know that 5 plus 5 is 10.
Say it again.
I need to just know that 5 plus 5 is 10.
True. You just think, oh, that's double. All right? Yes?
This is the real test, or not?
Well, it's like the real test, but like the real test won't have 5 groups of 2. It'll have a different thing. Like it might be 6 groups of 3.
No.
Okay? So it's the kind of questions are the same. What's in the questions will be different. Okay? So don't just memorize the numbers on the side. All right? Okay, here we go. This one, they made an array. 3 rows of 7. So instead of doing groups of things to multiply, they made an array. Well, what would 3 rows of 7 be? What would that? That one.
21.
21 would be the answer. Now the next part, because it's kind of word problems for all the rest of the page, what was it that I told you I want you to do for all of those problems? Brody.
Label.
Yes, be sure to label. I'm a stickler about labeling. Okay? Labeling is kind of a silly way to lose points. And I've actually had students do this before. They just read this, they don't even do the problem yet, but they say, how many counters? And they come over here, and they write word counters. And then they read this one, and they label this one. And they just label everything first. They don't even do any of the math yet. Then they go back, and they do the math, because that way they don't forget to go through and label things. All right? So, if you want to do that, you can. Because sometimes when you put the number answer down, you quickly switch to the next one and you don't think about the label, right? All right. So if you want to do that, you can. Well, I don't need to erase anything. I can just leave counters there. All right. So this one says, use counters to model 7 groups of 5. How many counters altogether? Now remember, I'm not going to make you use the counters. However, some of you might be thinking, I don't know what 7 groups of 5 is. What would the multiplication problem be? What would the multiplication problem look like?
7 times 5.
7 times 5. Who says, oh, I know 7 times 5. All right? What if I did this? Because some of you might be going, I don't know my 7s. Let's use the commutative property. Oops. 5 times 7. Who says, oh wait, I can do that one now. I can do 5 times 7. Okay, you guys, I bet you can. So raise your hand if you can count by 5. Put up 7 fingers. Ready? Count by 5 with me, but while putting fingers down. I'm going to start over here with my 2. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. 35.
Wow.
5 times 7 is 35. Okay? So, that's a way of doing it. If I needed to, and I got stuck, I can actually go 7 groups of 5. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. And then, if you did that, you might realize, oh, wait a minute. 5, 10, 15. I can just count by 5s. Right? So, whichever way, whatever you have to do, the big thing is get the right answer. If you can just look at it and go, 7 groups of 5 is 35, because I counted by 5s, then do it. If you need to make a picture to be sure you're right, make a picture. Okay? Whatever you have to do to get the right answer. All right? There's no bad way of doing it. It's just some ways are quicker than others, right? The only bad way of doing this problem is if I got like 28 as the answer. That's a bad way of doing it because it's the wrong answer. Okay? All right, let's look at the next one. Use counters to model 6 groups of 7. How many counters all together? When I'm doing counters, 6 groups of 7. Did anybody get the answer to that one? Or they think they have an answer? 6 groups of 7. What did you get?
42.
She got 42. Who says, I agree, 42. Okay. Can you explain to me how you got it? How did you know it was 42?
Because I used a piece of paper
Okay.
to make an array.
Oh, okay. So she decided, you know what? 6 groups of 7 is multiplying, but multiplying can be shown in an array. So she made an array. Did you use like an actual one, like boxes like that? Okay, so she went like this, and now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you just count all your boxes? perfectly good way of doing it, because 42 is the answer. Did anybody do it differently? Because mostly today, I want to see if we can come up with potentially some slightly different ways of thinking of them that would also work. And some people might go, oh, that's the way of doing it. All right, I'm going to show you a way. 6 groups of 7. What if I thought to myself, well, 6 is only one bigger than 5 when he gets back in go. Can I figure out 5 groups of 7 pretty easily? I can count by 5s again, right? In fact, it would just be 35. I need one more group of 7 though. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Okay, I did it. Okay? So, you could do that, but rely on one of these things. If you wanted to, 6 groups of 7, I can also do this. Wait. Okay, if you do this, be careful that you write the correct number of 7s. Then, I'm going to do something I saw Lily do. What'd you do, Lily? Boo! She's just modest. She did this. What's 7 plus 7? 14. I hope 7 plus 7 is still 14.
Yeah.
Is it still, it didn't change?
It did.
Does anybody know off the top of your head what 14 plus 14 would be?
24.
Not 28. There you go, 28. Now I just have to add this last 14 to that, right? 8 and 4 is 12, so that would be 42. So I used my repeated addition, and I just kind of did it in a way that I grouped them differently. What property of addition did I just use? Because I chose to do numbers just together. You remember? It's repeated addition, but what property of addition did I use?
Parentheses.
Well, there's parentheses, but that's not a property of addition. When Zoe gets back, who's going to be back after Brody? Yes.
Associative property?
Yes, the associative property. It says you can group them however you want. So I grouped them like this, and then I grouped them like this. So you can kind of use those properties to kind of help you make the problem easier. Okay? Yes? Oh, stretching. All right. Somebody tell me, for the next one, it says there are 8 cars at the circus. There are 4 clowns in each car. How many clowns altogether? Well, who got an answer, first of all? Campbell, what'd you get?
37.
Say it again.
37.
Look at your...
I'm at 32.
There you go. I think was your line on your 2 hidden on the black line?
Yeah.
Okay. That can happen. All right, 32 left.
Clowns.
Okay, 32 clowns.
So I'm at 59 right
Mhm.
kind of have that take up some of it.
Go do you a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so 32 clowns. Who says yes? That's what I got too.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could do this. Okay, there's 8 cars in the circus. And I could draw 8 cars, and then I could draw 4 clowns in every car and then count them. Who thinks, I don't think making a detailed picture is a good way of doing this. I don't think a detailed picture is what I need, right? Instead, what could I do that would be like a picture of it, but it's not real detailed? 8 cars with 4 clowns in every car.
You could probably make just like a car shape, and then you could just put the,
Can I do that?
yeah, no.
Is that close enough?
Yeah,
Okay. How many do I need?
What part? Oh, 8.
Okay, I need 8 of these. What am I going to do for inside of each of those, Declan?
Four like dots inside.
Okay, put 4 dots, 4 X's, 4 something. And this is a model of what it would be, right? And then I could just count all the X's. That is one way of doing it. It would totally work. You would get the right answer. Who's got a different way that they did it, though? You were like, I don't want to make the picture and count them. Did you do it a different way? What do you think? Okay. Could I do what we did before and say, well, there's 4 cars or clowns in each car. Right? Now, watch what I'm going to do this time. I happen to know that 3 4s make 12. Do you happen to know the same information?
Yeah.
Watch what I'm going to do. See how I use the associative property there? Since I can do 4 of them at the same time, I'm going to go like this. That's 12, that's 12, 2 4s make an 8. Tell you what, Colton, go ahead. Zoe, why don't you go ahead? And when Colton gets back, you can go, or Brody, whoever gets back. All right? Who says, hey, 12 plus 8 is pretty easy? What's 12 plus 8? Lily, what is it?
20.
What makes it so easy? What's true about an 8 and a 2 when you put them together? They make a 10, don't they? So I've got a 10, and I made another 10, that's 20. 20 plus 12 should be 32. So I can totally do that. You can also do this. All right, 8 groups with 4 in each group. And that's what this is, right? How many of you, though, adding 8 4s is kind of like, oh, that's a lot of adding? Who says, man, that's a lot of adding? What if I did the commutative property? Now what am I adding?
4 times 8.
Okay, so I'm going to do 4 groups of 8. Oh. Could that be a little bit quicker? Yeah. So I can use the commutative property to say, well, it's the same problem. It's just now I did it a little quicker. Okay? These are the things that you need to kind of use in your, go ahead, Fletcher. You need to figure out in your head, how do I want to do this? How you do it isn't extremely important for this test. It's, did you get the right answer? Okay? So if you did this, but got 32, awesome. If you did this and got 32, great. If you did this and got 32, super. If you made an array and got 32, good. Yes, please. Go ahead. Yes?
So, we have to show our work here, right?
You do not have to actually show me anything, okay? I will let you use a scrap piece of paper, but you don't have to show me what you did. Because if you get the right answer, I'm going to assume you did one of these things and got the right answer, okay? All right. Because part of this is just figuring out, there's lots of ways to figure out a multiplication problem. Okay, what is multiplication? And how can we easily get the answers? All right, number 6, there are 6 jugglers. Each juggler is juggling 6 scarves. How many scarves are they juggling in all? Well, again, I could make a picture of a juggler juggling scarves. And now how many jugglers do I need to make pictures of? How many more do I need if there's 6 jugglers?
5 more.
I need to make 5 more pictures like that. And then I can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just count all my scarves. How many of you are going to agree with us again? Don't do that. Don't make an extremely vivid picture. Yeah, kind of waste of time. Could I do an array? How many rows and columns would I have in my array to figure this one out? How many rows and columns would I need? Brody?
You would have 6 rows and 6 columns.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. By the way, try to keep your arrays, if you do it this way, as even as you possibly can. Sometimes they get a little wonky, and then when it goes to counting them, you kind of lose track of where you are. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's my 6th row. And now I would just count them, right? What did you get as an answer for that? Somebody tell me what you got for number 6. Liam, what'd you get?
36.
36 what?
36 jugglers.
Well,
Scarves.
scarves would be that. All right, so there's 36 scarves. Somebody tell me, did you do it a different way where you didn't use an array or a picture of some kind? How did somebody else do this? How'd you do it? Hang on a second. We have a discussion going on. You guys need help with anything? Yes, Brody?
Yes, I don't know what scarves are.
Scarves are things you wear around your neck. In this case, if you're juggling scarves, it would be a special kind of scarf.
Oh.
Okay, now back to math. Go ahead.
I had a picture in my mind of what it would look like.
Okay.
And then, I forget.
Okay, I need more information on how you did it. Here's a new way of doing it. Watch this. I'm going to make 6 circles. Okay? Now, I'm not going to put 6 things in each circle. I'm going to do something a little bit differently. Did you notice how I arranged my 6, by the way? It's kind of like on a dice, isn't it? Okay, you know how there's 3 and 3 on a dice? That's how I arranged it. Watch what I'm going to do. 6 times 6. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bing! 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Did you see how I kept track to get 6 groups? And I just kept counting on and on and on and on. You can do that. How could I set this up as a repeated addition problem? What would it look like as repeated addition? Because I'll be honest with you, this works, that would work, repeated addition would be quicker. What would the repeated addition problem be for the scarves question? Yes?
6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6.
I'll just trust that you said 6 sixes. That wasn't really coming. Can I group them again, like I did before? 6 and 6 is 12. 6 and 6 is 12. 6 and 6 is 12. 2 12s make a 24. And 12 more is 36. And I can just keep counting and adding them on. Okay? So, repeated addition could be faster than making a picture. Because when you make a picture, you kind of have to go through and count everything eventually, right? All right. So there we go. That's another option. Number 7. Somebody read number 7 for us. Go ahead, Zoe.
The business has 2 lions each wing. They have 4 wings and they're 10. How many lions do they have in all?
Okay. That one would be a pretty easy picture, right? 4 rings. Do I need to actually draw a lion?
Yes.
No. I'll put an L for lion. And then I can just count, and that's easy. Who said I just made a multiplication problem and did it? What's the multiplication problem that you did? You know? Okay, 2 times 4, or 4 times 2, because there are 4 rings with 2 in each ring. And hopefully when you look at that, you're like, oh, that's 8. That's not hard. Okay? I would almost suggest on all of these, first, write it as a multiplication problem, just to see, did my brain come up with the answer? If your brain says, nope, sorry, then go to one of the things we can do, because we know what multiplication is. Alright? Let's look at number 8. I need to erase everything to do it though, because I didn't have enough space to bring number 8 to the top. Have you seen? Somebody read it for us though while I'm getting ready. Calvin, go ahead.
Make sure Mrs. Johnson met with their 2 boys, Steve and Ryan, to the circus. They spent $7 for each ticket. How much did they spend altogether?
Okay. How many people are going to the circus? How many people are going to the circus? Olivia?
4.
There are 4 people. That's the first thing you have to figure out. I've had people in the past look at this and they go, okay, here's a number. Well, you can't do this problem because there's only one number. You can't multiply anything. Mr. Springer? Yes. You can't do this one. There's only one number. Well, that's true, but how did you know that the other number was 4? How do we know the other number is 4? Jordan?
Because they went with their 2 boys and you have to have 2 parents to go with them.
Okay.
Track of them.
I've also had people do this though. There's a number, it's just written like a word. It must be 7 times 2.
No.
And then they're not right either, because they didn't realize that it's Mr. and Mrs. Johnson and their 2 boys, which is 4 total people. So be careful when you read things that you get it all correct. So essentially we would be doing 4 times 7. What did somebody get for that? What did you get?
28.
28. 28 what? How would I label it?
$28.
Dollars. Thank you for not saying people. Because I've had people do that too. They say 28 people. No, it's how much are the tickets? Dollars. Okay? So $28 would be right. Somebody tell me how they did that one. 4 times 7. Because that's not something we've memorized yet. Who's got a way that they figured it out? How'd you figure it out?
I used the
Okay, so you went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then did the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And you filled in, okay. Did you go back and count them all then?
what?
Did you go back and count them all then? Okay. Here, by the way, here's another thing you could do. Okay, is you could go 7, since you already have the groups. If you can make, if you know that that shape has 7 things in it, see how I did it? And I don't do just random dots. Watch what I can actually do. I'm going to make my 4 groups. Now watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Do you see how when I made that 7 in the same shape with dots each time, I knew I made 7 because it matches the shape. And I can keep counting on. Now, that's one that requires a little bit of mental focus, doesn't it? Because I have to make sure I'm making that shape and I'm counting on correctly. If your mental focus is telling you I can't do that, then don't do it that way. But that's another option of how you can do it. Yes?
I did it like by counting by 3s, but I said like the 2 like really quietly.
Oh, okay. So you kind of had, you knew it was 4 times 7, so you kind of went 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. There's my 7. See how she skipped counting by 2s, but she just kind of kept the second 2, or the first 2 quiet, because she had to get to the 4s. Okay? Alright? I like that way of doing it. Alright? Because 4 is just a 2 double, right? Okay? All right. Then, anybody got a different way that they did it? Could I have done 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7? Yeah, I could use the commutative to say, let's make, I'm sorry, no, 4 groups of 7, and then just add those. I get 28. Okay, so I can use that repeated addition. Okay, all right, look at the next page. The next page actually goes by really fast because a lot of it is taken up by that big box. Or the 2 big boxes. All right, the first part says, write 2 multiplication sentences for the array. What's one multiplication sentence I could do for that array? Brody.
3 times 6 equals 18.
Okay. Thank you for saying equals 18, by the way, because we need that for the multiplication sentence. Now, what's the other one? Calvin?
6 times 3.
There you go. 6 times 3 equals 18. And that's all I have to do on that. It's kind of pretending like it was standing up and it was laying down as 2 different arrays. All right? Okay, this one, do you notice on yours, I got rid of all the stuff? And I want you to actually practice doing that organized list. Okay? And then there is a question here. So it says, and on the test it'll say fill in the table to solve. Susan can choose 1 sandwich and 1 drink for her lunch. She can have a peanut butter, ham, turkey, or cheese sandwich. For a drink, she can choose water, fruit juice, milk. How many different lunch combinations can she make? Now, they did a lot of the work for you because they set everything up, right? You just needed to put in water, PB, for peanut butter. FJ, PB. Notice they give you the things. All right? I'm hoping you got all those things filled in correctly. By the way, each of those is going to be worth a point. So this is like easy points on the test, right? As long as you're matching things up correctly. All right? What's the question asking me, though? What am I supposed to figure out? You guys are kind of blah today. What am I supposed to figure out? Calvin?
How many combinations of lunch can she have?
There you go. And how many did you find?
12.
Okay, there are 12 combinations. And that's how I would label it, right? Could I have said 12 lunches? Yeah, probably could. All right, 'cause that's what it's talking about. All right? So that's that one. Again, make sure you figure out the answer there. You could, who says, you know what, I could have figured out the answer without filling these in? How could you have figured out 12 combinations without even filling anything in?
Just count the squares.
Count the squares. It's an array, isn't it? It's a 3 by 4 array. Okay? All right. The last section. Pay close attention to this one because people have had troubles on 11 and 12 in the past. You guys will, I'm sure. All right. Here's what it says. Draw an array that represents 5 rows of 8 squares. So first you have to draw that array. Hopefully, now I'm going to be picky because it says 5 rows of 8 squares. That's 5 rows of 8 squares. If I did it the other way, like I stood that up, that would be 8 rows of 5 squares. Okay? So I'm probably going to make this worth 2 points. 1 point for having the right number of squares in your array, and another point for having it facing the right direction. Okay, so it is 5 rows of 8. All right? Then, oh, by the way, you don't have to do it that way. You could do this. I can make my squares like that. Just do them carefully so they end up being the same size so it looks like an array when you're done. Okay? Who says, I'm going to do it this way because it's easier. Okay, just do it carefully so that you end up with squares that are easy to count. Okay? Now, draw an array that represents 5 rows of 8 squares. How many squares altogether? How many squares did you get? What did you get?
25.
How many?
25.
25? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I have more squares to go. What'd you get? 40. Anybody else get 40? Alright, it should be 40 because it's going to be 5 times 8, right? So I could count 5 8 times. Alright? So you could do this. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Alright? 40 what, by the way? How do I label that? How do I label that? Liam?
Rows?
Not rows.
Columns? Rows and columns.
No. Call somebody to help you.
Squares.
Squares. 40 squares. Alright. Okay, the last one then, this is where people get confused. It says, write 2 multiplication sentences for the array above. And when it says above, well, when you look up above you on your test, technically there are 3 different arrays, aren't there? There's the one you made, there's the one that shows the lunch options, and then there's the one at the very top. Which one do you think they mean? Which one do you think they mean? Brody?
The one that we made.
Yes, the one you just made for number 11. Okay? So, what would a multiplication problem be for number 12 that I could write? Go ahead.
8 times 5 equals 40.
Alright? And what's the other one I would have, Calvin?
5 times 8 equals 40.
There you go. Okay, how many of you feel right now pretty confident that tomorrow when you take this test you're going to get an A? Okay. I hope so. Zoe, you're not confident? Okay. Is there a little bit of yourself that thinks I could get an A, but I'll have to work hard? Okay, good. Alright, it is possible, right? Okay, none of this is super duper hard. Just remember all the things that make multiplication what it is, and use any of them to help you find the right answer. Okay? And then make sure you label things so you don't lose the silly points. Alright? Okay, for now, does anybody have a question about that? Alright, for now then, go ahead and put those away. And just have your desk cleared out. And you can leave the projector. Sent to your parents last night. It is about the fact that your Chromebooks are now in. Okay? And they're all totally ready to go. The first thing we're going to do today, though, is I want to go through this letter with you so you understand some things about the Chromebook that I already told to your parents, and hopefully they'll kind of talk to you about it too. Alright? And you're going to go home with them today. Okay, we're not going to get them right now, but by the end of the day, we're going to go get them. But I do need to have you make sure you're listening to this, because this is one of those things. How many of you would agree that when you get excited, sometimes your ears stop working? Okay, so be excited for a minute. Ready? Go. Okay. All right. And I'm going to keep the video going so that Bethany at home will be able to hear all this too. Yes?
My sister told me that she was getting Chromebooks. She got Chromebooks yesterday, right?
No, they're getting today.
Oh.
All right? 5th grade got them yesterday, though. Okay, here we go. It says, Dear parents, the Chromebooks for 3rd grade have arrived. I will be handing them out to the kids tomorrow, which is today now. And we will start to practice what they will be used for this week. This is a letter to help you help them to be responsible with them. I will be going over these points with the kids at school, so they should know all of this. But it wouldn't hurt for them to hear it from you as well. So if your parents go through this thing with you again, just sit there and listen to them. Okay? Some of this was covered at the Chromebook meeting, because parents had to go to a Chromebook meeting to kind of find out about it. Your parents probably didn't, because they didn't know they were coming here yet. All right? But here's what my letter says for your parents to remember about the Chromebook, and I want you to remember these things too. Point number 1 says, the Chromebook is not the child's. It belongs to the parents. How many of you paid for the Chromebook?
My mama?
No. How many of you brought money and bought the Chromebook? Raise your hand if you bought it. Okay. The Chromebook is not the child's. It belongs to you as the parent. I made that clear to the parents so that they know they are in charge of it. You're mostly going to be using it, right? But when they say, give me the Chromebook, you say yes, because it is not yours. They're being generous and letting you use it, correct?
Yes.
Okay, keep that in your head. All right? The kids are using them, but you are the owner and will be making the decisions of when to use them. Okay? Now, you will need to use them for things, especially the further we get in the year. I'm going to be adding stuff we can do, like our social studies book, our science book, and we can do some assignments on from those. There's going to be more math stuff we'll do on it. Different things, some projects for things we'll use the Chromebooks for. Okay? But remember, your parents are the ones to decide when you have it and when you don't. Okay? Yes?
Couldn't we just do the assignments here?
Well, some of them, yeah. Some of them I want you to practice though, using the Chromebook to be able to do stuff. Okay? Because honestly, when you get older, computers aren't going to go away, I don't think. Right? So I want you to get comfortable using computers. Okay? Hang on a second. Save your questions till the end, because I might answer some of them. Point number 2. The Chromebooks are a tool and not a toy. We'll use them at school and at home, but they should be specifically used for school activities. Now, that's the biggest thing, is right now, most technology for you is toy related. Wouldn't you agree? A game, watching just a fun video, right? You're not using it to actually accomplish something. Computers are awesome tools, and that's how we want to teach you how to use the Chromebook as a tool. What can I do to actually make something with the Chromebook instead of just something's made and I'm just watching it or playing it? Okay? So how can I be a producer on it instead of a consumer? Those are kind of fancy words though, right? All right, I should probably stand further over here so the microphone can hear me. Hopefully Bethany was hearing me. All right, this one. A big part of the reason we do this through the school, so when your parents buy this, they buy it through the school, all right? It would technically be cheaper for just to say, everybody buy a Chromebook, and then you bring in your own Chromebook. But there's going to be 2 reasons why we don't do it that way, all right? A big part of the reason we do this is through the school is to help with parts 1 and 2. Each computer has a program called Go Guardian that will report to me if the computers are being used to try to access things on the internet that the kids don't need to see. It'll also block them. But it will give you and I, meaning your parents, a chance to encourage them to use the Chromebooks for school. Okay, so there is a program on there where it will alert me if somebody's trying to go to a site that you really don't need to go to. Okay, and it will also block you from getting on that site. All right, so that's to encourage you to use them just responsibly. All right, it'll also keep you from accidentally going somewhere on the internet. That's the kind of happens too. All right. Yes?
just when you accidentally hit one.
Well, if you're just doing that, you could open up a Word document and then it doesn't matter. It won't do it.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. Ready? I shouldn't have called them. Here we go. Number 4. The kids should take care of them so they will last. So although they belong to your parents, you're going to be the ones mostly holding, touching, doing other things, right? Okay? It's kind of like being given to you, trusting you with it. Kind of like the parable of the talents. They were given something, and then they got it back, and it was even better. Okay? Now you can't really probably make it better, but it keeps from getting worse. The kids should take care of them so they'll last. The other reason you do this through the school is we have a service contract to fix them for free if needed. So let's say for some reason you have your Chromebook and it's sitting on the dinner table, and you have a younger brother or sister. For some reason they decide that they want to pour water on your Chromebook, and it goes.
Oh no.
Bring it in immediately and say, my little brother poured water on this. Okay, what's going to happen is this. When they are sent in, so we'll send that in to get fixed. They may not fix it, they may just send us a different one. The kid will be given a loaner Chromebook. So what we'll do is you'll give us one that's broken. We'll take one from the loaners, give it to you to use until yours gets fixed. Here's the thing though. It will not be set up the way they may be used to having theirs set up. For example, when you use the computers down there and you log in, how many of you have your icon set up in a particular spot? Okay, usually people organize things, and we're going to work on organizing things on your Chromebook to very particular places so that it's easier to use. Okay, sometimes when I go from my computer to like Mrs. Springer's, I can't find what I want to find because she's got it all organized differently. The loaners will not be organized necessarily the way you want them organized, so it's kind of a hassle. So you want to kind of take care of it. You'll have the loaner until yours comes back, but it may not be exactly the way that you like to see things set up. All right? So it's best if you can just take good care of it. All right? So that I'll get into that down here. All right? When not in use, have a particular place to put the Chromebook so it's less of a temptation when not needed. I don't want you guys to be screen time, okay? Still do other things. Go outside, play. Use it for school, but then don't be like, okay? You're going to have plenty of time in your life to be on a computer. Take some time to not be on a computer too, okay? So when you're not using it, just put it somewhere, okay? Here's my suggestion. Putting it in their book bag would be one idea. Out of sight, out of mind. And I said, I must be old if I'm using phrases like this. Out of sight, out of mind. This will also help keep them in good working order. So if you're like, when I'm not using this, I'm always going to put it here at my house. Okay? In your book bag's good because then in the morning you won't forget to bring it back to school, right? Okay. However, there's going to be another one that's going to kind of, you'll have to think about your book bag. Number 6, the cases need to stay on as well to keep and protect them from accidents that will inevitably happen. Things happen, right? That's why they're called accidents. All right? Now, don't take your Chromebook and go, I wonder how good this case is. That's not an accident. Okay? But is it possible that you're just turning around, you're holding your Chromebook nicely, and you turn around and somebody's running down the hallway? Could that happen? Yeah. I mean, did you do anything? No. You were holding it with 2 hands like you're supposed to. Somebody ran into you. It's an accident. Okay? That's why we keep the cases on. Those cases actually don't test them, but they're pretty good at absorbing shocks so that nothing should happen. All right? I'm going to get to the last ones after recess because it's time for recess. And I have outside duty. So for now, get your coat if you're going to wear your coat, and then we'll